that third ban for T1, so we'll see it come through now. And then KT, you know, banning the Azir Rumble again. Could look for the Vi, has been something they banned. Could look for the Ziggs. It's something T1 banned last game. A lot of discussion to just say Yone.
I mean, the only other angle is you take it yourself, but that doesn't feel like a good blue side first pick.
Wow.
If Jack's ban.
You know what? I'm going to say it. I don't agree with this. It might surprise you.
Bold statement. Take it away.
Well, the thing is as well
Tyler, no
is
thoughts?
if they want to deny the Yone and first pick it, like you give over things like the Ziggs. Well, Ziggs is going to get banned away, so you have to be concerned about that.
Like BDD deserves his respect. I know they won game number 1, but this is non-negotiable, and Faker has not looked even close to any of the other free seeds that we're sending, right? And we'll have to see.
You know, it's unlikely. Not really something you'd blind pick first pick, but they do have another Yone player on the roster. Perhaps they can send it up that way, but it will be bit of flexing. It will be KT to deny Sejuani. I think giving over Sejuani, Yone would absolutely be a mistake, so it makes sense there. And there's still good options for Owner on the other side. Yeah. Lilia, Vi, Skarner, all available. The question is, what do KT want to pair this with?
Is it Tristana? Not the best synergy with the Sejuani, but getting BDD a powerful pick, I think, is huge.
You know, the only other thing he's played so far has been Corki.
Yeah, we don't want that.
So I don't think it's gonna be that. But we'll see. We'll see if they feel okay with it. But it's Sejuani MF, so immediately a lot of burst damage. You've got the setup with the Sejuani. You take it away from Owner.
Yeah, and I imagine it's probably going to be jungle AD pick in this rotation. You could take the Leona if you wanted that to deny the MF, but we haven't really seen teams lean into that too much. They are going to opt for that Lilia. Owner drew bans for that pick in playoffs, but actually start with the Jhin. So, you know, we didn't see the Jhin picked into the Ziggs, but now Ziggs is banned. We'll see the Jhin come out. But it does mean you can operate a safe distance. When your team's going in with the likes of that Yone, you can follow up from afar.
Saying no,
yeah,
I think he's saying Lilia.
Lilia makes sense for them, provides the AP that they do need in the composition. Playing into a tank jungler as well feels good. And now over to KT. Could potentially, I mean, I expect it's a mid lane pick for BDD here. They have to secure if they're going anything that they expect to get banned away, which is most of the picks we're seeing in the meta right now. But instead, they're opting to take a leaf out of the T1 book and go for the Camille. They will secure a confident play here from Perfect. Synergize when the Sejuani has that setup for the team.
And in the first couple of games, sometimes by his own fault, sometimes just by the way that KT's been played, Perfect has not been able. There's a chance that this is still going to be the Corki top, right? Like they could theoretically flex it around.
Corki mid's been losing. Maybe
right. What about Corki top? We've seen that before.
It's a Camille Sejuani. And now Tristana goes over to BDD potentially, but they might want the AP, so toying with some other options. The confidence pick! And the thing with LeBlanc is so hard to pin down. You know, there's a lot of lockdown on T1, but I feel like it's going to be hard to actually connect onto this LeBlanc pick. So much threat onto things like the Corki, like the Jhin from the flank. We will get to see where this...
In summer, so many of the numbers are exactly the same. It is uncanny. But as I said before, Faker will look to, alongside of his roster here, try to rewrite history and make new history here in this best of 5, in this game 5. And BDD, who's only getting more and more confident, pulls out the R5 LeBlanc. Let's see how it goes as we hop into the Rift for game number 5.
I keep thinking there's no higher gear, and they keep going up and up.
KT fans, extremely hype right now, and I think it's justified. And I love the confidence in a game 5 for KT to bring out the Camille for Perfect. I definitely think confident issues have been a thing with him going up against Zeus, but willing to bring that out with a Sejuani, BDD with a LeBlanc. On the other side, though, the fact that they wanted to deny the Yone and trust Zeus to take it top lane. But the Corki on a heavy loss streak, sorry. Definitely not a win streak. Heavy loss streak right now. I will say some of the comps he has lost with, it was low damage comps, trying to rely on the Corki. There is a lot of other damage threats here, but we have seen this pick struggle endlessly.
Outside of the Corki pick, though, I do actually really like the T1 composition. There is so much long-range engage as...
Level 1 hook shot coming on in. Do a little bit of harass coming in there, but Keria is here. Trade a little bit back on a perfect. And actually a decent amount more than just a little bit. I mean, Ignite coming down here as well. Keria really bullying both of them in the mid lane, just really using the Shield of Daybreak to essentially say, you will not stay here.
This would be the perfect time to get one of those graphics where it shows damage dealt and Keria's just like miles above everyone else. Getting those autos off, getting the value there, and forces Perfect away. It is once again going to be a swap coming out, so we see Deft and Beryl in the top lane. And last game, we saw T1 punish that with a dive towards... Oh!
There it is. Level 2 comes in. Keria trying to make it play, but it's still LeBlanc, and BDD was very ready for it.
Yeah, that's a reaction tester. You know, I think sometimes Game 5 little reaction tester can go a long way. I think BDD's reactions are pretty on point. I could have told you that before we saw that, but you know, I respect the Keria trying to find an angle, and he does unlock Hex Flash.
That he does. BDD now the one looking for this, but Keria is still here. Not too surprising, but at least able to get a decent amount of poke on in. Beryl also looking for the angle himself.
Faker doesn't have Valkyrie.
There it is. Valkyrie is down. Level, or not down, it's just not taken. BDD gonna find a Leona, but now Beryl is going to try to get some damage on in. It's very tense here in the mid lane between these two duos.
Right from the get-go, you can even see Gumayushi immediately running to mid. Right, he's not wanting to take any risks in these early skirmishes. Doesn't mean that Perfect just gets to catch this wave without any issues. Still has TP available.
He's looking for a play here on Aguma, cleansing the slow rather, and he's gonna get away. But yeah, obviously Perfect does have TP up to the top side. He missed the cannon.
Was it weird?
Try to make that play.
This is still a really big improvement over a lot of the CS numbers that we've seen for this top laner in the
yeah, I mean, definitely an improvement over the 0 at 4 minutes that we saw in Game 1. But, you know, yeah, I mean, he picks up this wave. Obviously, missing the cannon's a bit sad, but overall, not faring too badly. And it's going to be one of those shorter swaps, not seeing the lengthy one from before. Now, Faker's going to clear up some of this farm, but is definitely feeling the pain. Despite the help from Keria, is in a bit of a deficit in the mid lane already. And particularly with the changes we had to execute earlier this season, a lot more early game focused damage. The burst there is pretty obnoxious, and if you're frequently proccing it, you can really bully someone out of lane.
Yeah, you definitely can. I feel like LeBlanc has really been on the edge outside of Showmaker picking it up time to time in the regular season. Obviously, as you guys mentioned, he pulled it out in Game 5 up against T1 just earlier this week, a couple of days ago. And BDD says, well, I can play that too. And his confidence is skyrocketing. It's definitely something that can, you know, kind of live or die based on how you're feeling. The chains are going to connect here. Faker's in a lot of trouble. Auto comes in. And Faker says, no, I'm not in trouble. I'm totally fine. I'm going to sit here and CS. And BDD does not have the range, actually, to do much else.
Yeah, didn't really have the cooldowns. The level up comes in, but that chain from BDD was real slick there. The hitbox of Corki just past the minion. Faker thought he was behind, but just showing the dangers of this lane. And this is a level 5 LeBlanc. As soon as level 6 is hit, that kill pressure increases massively.
Big moment is going to be when we see Perfect and Pioshik actually link up. With the Q, have the ability to very rapidly set up that permafrost, try and burst the target down, and that's going to be the KT game plan, right? Especially with this LeBlanc as well. Go in as aggressively as possible on a single target, blow them up in a second. Do note that BDD still has TP available, so any trade he can find onto Faker actually going to be really beneficial here. As Faker backing for Tyr, and a very early piece of magic resist. As Perfect has ult.
On Vision was the Sejuani, but yeah, as you mentioned, you're not getting away from this one. Zeus trying his best. He's going to flash. He's going to try to ult away, but you cannot get away from the Camille. Do they have the damage to take down Zeus? Is the real question, as one will do it, and they take him down, and first blood goes to Perfect.
Beautifully played there by Perfect. Zeus tries the fancy moves to disengage, but Perfect doesn't go for Zeus himself, goes to where the soul was unbound from, sits patiently, finds the ult. The cleanup is there, and a 1-0 stop for the Camille. Definitely what you want in a Game 5.
Perfect has struggled a ton in this series. The Gragas, a big show of confidence from his team. Big turnaround after what was, again, Zeus really getting the upper hand. But this time it feels like it's Zeus that was, because of the previous games, forced in an uncomfortable position. Right? Faker hasn't looked great on the Yone, so Zeus effectively, just to make sure that they were able to take it away, happy to take that into the top side of the map. But it looks like at least early on that 1-2 of the Camille combined with the Sejuani is working out. BDD, a little careful there as Keria shows, but does come just up a flashback, right? So does have the lost chapter. And now KT trying to look for a play on this dragon. Want to try and turn the tide on these early dragons that have been taken by T1.
This is dangerous from Ona because Faker can move in and threaten. So he does go for the little bowling ball, but it's actually enough to scare KT away. Perhaps the fact that Guma has ult, and Piochiko's getting a little bit low. Don't want to risk like the Jin ult coming in, but will be forced away. So T1 obviously got those grubs, no trade back, but this is the replay of that setup. So goes for Zeus, and Zeus obviously unbound soul, but you know, you have to come back to eventually. But he gets level 6 of the minions, flash ult, and Perfect follows it up, and it looks close. But this final flash at the end, combined with Yotrix W, does secure the kill, and Perfect the one who gets it.
It's best case scenario. Camille can really take over a lot of these carry matchups if she does get accelerated. Quite strong early, really strong when combined with the Sejuani, but can really struggle in longer trades, which obviously Yone doesn't have an issue setting those up. Can continuously trade with his sustain as well, so adding a little bit more oomph for Perfect very early on the Sheen now. Going to be feeling really good. On the flip side, T1 trying to maintain some pressure here. Carry out.
Oh, trying to make a play here on a Deft. Barrel getting in front of that, but he's level 4. Alistair has to flash away, and now trying to open up. The first shot is going to hit as Deft, desperate to try to block them, and he will block that 4th shot, but they don't get any kills. But T1's bottom lane still pressuring the bottom side of the map and getting some plates.
Yeah, they found the pressure.
Ult available here.
Might look for the other side. Perfect's
Just
low though.
He is pretty low, but he's got Sejuani with him. He's got that shield, and can Zeus do anything? Here comes Owner to try to turn this one around, and with that Sealed Fate, they're just going to hop away. But now Owner thinking about it a little bit more, just trying to put his face in it. Not going to amount to too much.
If Perfect doesn't sidestep that, could definitely have been a really big turn for T1. Opportunity to get some gold onto their Yone. Because despite everything, especially with that play not working out, we do see again the CS lead for Zeus building. And Yone is one of those champions where even if you do fall behind in lane, not alone, not enough to really dissuade you from having an impact later on.
Oh man, everybody is here.
They knew.
Great bait from Zeus there. Perfect also missing the cannon when he looked at that hook shot. So even though there was that early kill, even though the gang setup is good, the 1v1 pressure is there for Zeus, the confidence he has on this pick. And we see in the mid lane some heavy trades as well. BDD, he goes in, will get like a chain, but then the phosphorus bomb comes out in return. It's like, well, you know, if I stay here, then I just lose the trade. So he has to play it a bit more defensively. Both teams kind of prodding and poking. I'd say the significant thing is we're about to get the second spawn of grubs. It's 10 minutes and there still hasn't been a dragon. We've seen really quick dragons in this series, but the fact that T1 pushed KT off it earlier means it is going to be quite late in this game.
Yeah, definitely could be a big factor in this one, especially depending on the soul. We've seen a lot of clouds in this one, and we're going to start off with the Cloud Drake. And at this point in time, I mean, it feels like both of these teams very evenly matched. The Grubs did go over to T1, but the First Blood went over to KT, so feels like each side got a little piece of something, as now KT gonna try to go for the second set of Grubs, although T1 on the map are moving over to try to challenge. That's one Grub taken and immediate abandonment of that pit.
Barra has level 6 available, as does Keria. Again, the burst is the big thing here for KT. They want to try and isolate a member and take them down immediately.
Rotations. Rotate back into the pit.
Deft is running, but Guma does have a lot of range with his R. Both the AD carries still here.
It really just comes down to the smite, and it goes over to Owner, and now Barrel's going to go in looking for something extra. That's 2 people that are going to be slept up, but BDD finds Faker, trying to bait Zeus in as well, and that's a massive bullet time, but in goes Zeus, finds BDD. The first one to go down will be Owner, and now we've got Zeus caught in the pit amongst 4 of them. Is going to dash away. As Guma finally makes his way over, Keria going to be caught by BDD as well, and KT Rolster pick up 2 more kills.
Very hectic fight, but a lot of T1's tools been up front. They couldn't finish off BDD, and in the re-engage, KT come out strong. We'll see the replay now, and it is a missmite here from Yoshik, but Beryl looks for the engage, and we see the sleep burned by Oni here, but no follow-up to come through. You can see Beryl even considering holding his ult. BDD though gets caught by the roots, but his clone blocks the Jin shot, able to dash away, and then all your tools are being burned, and KT are there to pick up the pieces.
Additionally, Beryl denying Zeus access to BDD. That could have been a really big kill for the Yone. And then the ultimate from Deft actually completely closing off that quadrant. No one for T1 could make it through. And we know that the gold, it's about 400 or 500, right? Very minor at this point in the game. Even though getting kills onto your Camille, onto your LeBlanc obviously is going to feel great. But again, being a player, everything on the line in this final best of 1. Make like 3 bet plays back to back, and that's it. Your year is over. There's no going the Worlds, no continuation, no chance in case of T1 of extending their title. And for KT, obviously, another dance would be something that, when you say it in hindsight, would make sense. But if you'd said it right after they lost to, actually, you know what? No, right after they lost to Bro probably is when you most likely.
I think some of us were saying we'll see KT at Worlds, right?
Okay, but how much of that was a joke, Feldes? Actually, Atlas never doubted Barrel.
Atlas. Now we got Zeus, very similar spot. This time it's in the bottom lane. He gets the ult off. And it's really good timing right when the Permafrost comes in as well, so the damage not quite there. Meanwhile, a Jhin ult in the top side.
Yeah, good flash coming out from Zeus there to avoid the Sejuani ult. You can see the setup there, but they're doing a decent job of navigating that. Keria now here to threaten.
They will know.
Yeah, not subtle with that one. And looks like BDD took a bad trade there into Faker. You know, the kill on LeBlanc is big, but I feel like this pick really needs to be the one that gets the ball rolling for KT. If it has a lead, the difference is massive now.
Oh, ult's on Perfect. A lot of damage going down into this turret.
Yeah, I mean, Perfect's just going to stick around. He's trying to get that kill, and now we got a TP coming in. And here comes BDD behind them all as Keria is going to find the LeBlanc and give them some time. Damage is done, though, to Zeus. Oh, it's perfect! He will live! And BDD is still here. He's looking for more. He wants more. And he's not going to have it. He's going to dash away. Pyosik as well does his job, just puts his body on the line. So many low health bars, and KT get another.
So close to being 2 kills for T1, but both Perfect and BDD use their health bars so well there. Managing to disengage, managing to get the kill. And shit, Onus on the top side getting a Herald. Is he getting a Herald? I don't think Def can scare him off, but Dragon will now be secured for KT. And 4-0 in terms of kills. Decent start for them.
Big thing here, though, is that T1 still got the turret. So because of that first turret blot, they end up in a gold positive trade as Perfect, he is no longer afraid. Maybe he should be.
Maybe a little afraid.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, there was a chance, but with Pyosik not there, I mean, you don't really have to send it in. And it's Cloud Drake into Chemtech Drake. The first Drake goes down at 15 minutes into the game. So it's going to take a while until we really get into the soul, but it's probably going to be a good one.
Yeah, very likely to be fitting in a situation like this. We'll get a replay of this fight. So this is dangerous with Perfect overstaying, but look at the minimap. He knows that there's a TP coming in, and Keria tries to immediately shut down BDD, and does a good job getting on top of the LeBlanc, but the distortion back into the chains, Perfect getting the shield and the hook shot to disengage, and then here, BDD even going in for a heavy trade, but still has the ult to get away at the end. A little bit dangerous with that one.
Uh-oh. We've seen this before. This time it's BDD alongside of it. But I always get nervous when Jonas Strong turns off the lights and doesn't really show us what's going on. Perfect's in the top lane. And actually he's alone right now. Could try to do some damage to that turret. But Just going to back off. His owner's up there.
This is very telling that Zeus is still ahead in gold, despite everything that happened. And again, the kill score in favor of KT, but we don't really know which way this game is going to go until we actually see a big fight. Because again, I think for KT, they're the ones that are going to have to pull the trigger, right? They're the ones that are going to have to actually make the action happen. They can't just sit back. I think T1 can just sit there, poke with Jin, poke with Corki, throw Lilia, orbs, throw those bowling balls as many times as you'd like to try and whittle down KT's front line. Mercs here, obviously mega high value into the opponents. Leona is always very sad when you buy Mercs.
You see T1 trying to make an aggressive play here, but there's a lot of KT members in return.
Beryl just trying to throw himself into it and bait them into this fight. His Ingo's perfect, keeps Zeus around, but he dodges. That Sejuani ultimate lines up too. He's still alive, but down he goes. Trade of top laners as now BDD is coming up. Trying to punish Keria here, and it looks like T1 are just going to let it go. That's another kill over to BDD's LeBlanc. He is now 3-0.
Running!
A lot of running and skipping and hopping, and it's Deft who gets away. Meanwhile, Faker's just taking a turret.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2-for-1 in favor of KT, but if Faker gets this entire tier 2 bot tower, then they'll take that trade any day of the week. BDD going to try and pressure here, but...
Is he okay? I mean, the chains are going to land, and now he's barely going to stay alive.
He's fine. He's got, like, 80 health spare. Yeah. It's called using your health bar, right?
Health is a resource, Valdez. Get it together.
Sorry, I forgot.
It's okay. This series has really had it all. I don't think we're quite done. Again, kill score, don't be fooled by it.
We aren't done. There's a whole... This game is the last one.
Yeah, the Nexus didn't explode yet, so we're not done. Let's take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, so we see Perfect going in onto Zeus, but he's very early, leading the charge, so the follow-up isn't quite there. Zeus with a good dodge off the Sejuani ult that does eventually go down. But at this point, they know BDD's coming, they know Deft is coming. Sacrifice is Keria, but they just have Faker pushing in a side lane, so they're pretty fine with that trade. The KDAs suffer, but in terms of gold, they're still ahead.
Biggest thing for me with KT, though, is that BDD is the one getting the most kills. BDD is the one getting monstrously fed. And it makes itemization on the T1 side a lot harder, right? We have had a lot of full AD compositions, but a LeBlanc that just gets to basically do whatever she wants and deal effective true damage to everyone that is within her range is a really big deal.
And the other person who's also getting the gold.
Well, we're ulting the wave as in he goes, trying to clear it out and make sure that he's safe on the dive. There's the Q3, trying to dodge it, flashes away from Pyoshik. Pyoshik's taking a huge amount of damage, but in comes Deft to try to trade it back, and they will get the kill, but man, Zeus made it pretty difficult as, once again, Faker's just taking a turret amongst all the action.
Yeah, about
again.
15 tower hits tank there, feels like by Pyoshik, but T1 are just playing for the objectives, and it's working.
All right, well, this is a Lilia. Can they actually get him down? Nice catch by Beryl Owner. In a lot of trouble. Just going to accept his fate and just try to hit the turret, I suppose. Does a little bit of damage, but Deft will be fed over a kill.
Working somewhat, we'll say. Still getting towers, getting structures. The mid tower now low, easy to threaten that one. It's a 3-tower-0 lead. So T1 are ahead in gold still, but it does mean that if KT get a bigger edge, a bigger team fight win, there's a lot of standing gold for them to take.
The Jin just like hitting a 4th shot on an F and he barely gets the shield. This is about as well played by Zeus as you can, right? Like you're in a really rough dive situation, gets the Q free, then flashes away from the damage from Pyoshik and also gets the Q as the knock-up on the Sejuani is enough. But then Barrel on Alistar has always been a thing. The
2019 vibe?
Yeah, 2019 vibe, 2020.
I just love that he finds the exact spot, the angle from Owner hitting the tower, and just that he knows. He knows.
I also, Owner could definitely have just let the Herald charge and not gone in.
Yeah, but then you don't get to do the cool driving, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were already...
Essential.
You were fine on the crossbow. Again, T1 is 2k gold up, despite everything that's happened, just because they've been able to get so many waves. Oh, boy.
That's a pretty big one for a lot of these champs.
Can you explain why?
So it adds a lot of burst to the champions.
Yes.
The Imperial Soul, and there's a lot of champions already have a lot of burst. So if you're wondering, there's the explanation for you.
I really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
But
Infernal
also,
Soul going... okay.
It's this the this, is it the Rift? Or the,
We call this Drift.
yeah, and we have the Jin, you know, we have the MF as well.
Oh, yeah.
We've got two 80 carries, the fastest 80 carries in the West.
That are
well, in the East, I guess.
Drift in honor of Viper when he was on Jin and literally ran for like a full minute and just kept picking up Cinder.
Through the enemy base.
Through the enemy base with these items and Swifties. And then the next patch, I think, I don't know which one of the two it was, but the movement speed on those items was nerfed. And I'd like to think
know
that
why?
it was because of that escape.
Because
Thanks,
they
Viper.
hate fun.
The Cinders are still in the game.
And they,
You
one of
get
the
the
best
threat.
maps, honestly.
Cinder's very important. Zeus, you know, beginning to take some aggressive trades here against Perfect. Perfect running at him and saying, I will not be deterred. And you better play it safe, otherwise you'd never know who's in my jungle.
Yeah.
As many times it has been Zeus like, oh, I want to go for trades, but then there's Sejuani, MF, it's LeBlanc sometimes. As an ult comes in, this is an Alistair who does have Unbreakable Will. Barrel's going to use it and try to get away. Creative ult says, once again, Faker's hitting a turret.
That was really nice, like Yoshik and Barrel to interrupt carry. Oh my, that's a lot of damage.
He has
He's going
Horizon
to get away
focus.
for now, and he has Flash. Can he get out is really the question. They'd have to go very deep to try to get Faker at this point. And yeah, KT just not going to get him.
Also, Yoshik throwing the ult over the wall. It was kind of the angle where it's like, it might hit me if I don't flash, but Faker flashes in the direction that doesn't connect onto him, but could have been a bit close. BDD's damage, definitely scary. Those two items in pocket, adding a lot of burst, as we've seen from Zig's gameplay. So, a lot of threat there. And even though T1 have that gold lead, it does not feel like this game is at all stable for them right now.
So you have Zeus, who definitely is winning in the side lane. Actually going for Stride Breaker this time around, so very different from the Yones that we've seen.
It's the counter the Drift Rift, you know?
Yeah.
It actually will have a
ankle
ton of
breaker.
value, right? Giving you even more sticking power. Also do note that this time around, Keria outside of Zeus is their only form of engage. So having the Yone be a bit beefier definitely going to help.
I mean, BDD was able to provide all the engage that KT needed
By murdering them.
in Game 4.
Yeah,
Oh,
just be BDD.
that's true.
It's that easy.
Yeah, just Q3, find the perfect target, and then ult follow up, and your teammates will follow. It's very obvious, the engage.
I think it's a bit harder into the composition that KT have. A lot of mobile targets and then deft. But he does walk fast.
And we all know walking is the best skill in League of Legends.
Top strategy.
It's
Top
very
strategy.
important.
He's not just walking fast, but he also has access to Drift.
And he has one Cloud Drake. I love how Faker this entire game, he took some trades with BDD. Yes, he did interact a little bit. But then after that, he was like, I'm just going to be in a side lane and push.
I
That's
swear,
it. That's my job.
We've seen so many Corki games in his long loss streak where it's been, oh my god, this Corki's so fed, unchallenged. What's he going to do? And then they just lose.
Well, like, how does he actually do damage in a fight when BDD is around, though? Because BDD does the same amount of burst, but in a very short time frame.
We're ulting a Sejuani in the jungle, and now TPs are coming in. They're trying to keep him around for a very long period, at least.
Turn?
But yeah, Zeus going to have to unbound out of that one. And KT thinking about it, thinking about the engage. Barely going to go in. The big MF ultimate is just going to get the flash. And it's not too committal just yet. Owner only going to hit the front line. There's the sleep. It goes in onto the one. Oh! The ultimate catches 3, but immediately goes back. Perfect. He followed. And that might be the end of him. As KT are in a lot of trouble. In goes Owner, looking for a bit more. Barrel is caught out. Down will go BDD. T1. They find the angle in the fight, and Def gets roped into it as well. And Pioshik, the only one to get out here.
As it turns out, it was just needing the Yone to be an engaged tool. As you see the hesitation from KT, and it turns out that hesitation was well founded as Zeus, off of the sleep of Owner, gets a multi-man engaged. That's Nash. That's another inner, unless, oh, Pioshik.
I mean, there is
smite.
there is
Doesn't have
vision.
smite.
Yeah, he doesn't have smite.
There's no way.
Well, they're going to send him away anyway, just in case. That's the Baron over to T1. And it was very close up until this very moment.
yeah, Keria trying to body block Yoshik so he can't Q over the wall, forced to flash here. And then we see Zeus comes out, immediately unbound souls. He has the ult ready, but saves it. When he snaps back, Barrel goes in, he flashes out, but they don't get anyone with the ult. Keria's the only one, and he disengages. Ona gets the passive one at perfect, goes for the sleep, And when Beryl and Pyosik play bodyguard, it sets up for the triple ult. Doesn't stay in there because he's on top of 2 tanks, but he drags Perfect back. The root on a BDD, the cleanup is clean, and T1 are looking on form.
And the rest of it is just cleanup. Zeus lines it up, and it's going to net them not only 4 kills, but the Baron, the first Infernal Drake, and now almost 7,000 gold to lead. As I said before, it was close. You know, KT were having angles. They had BDD was very fed, but now at this point, I don't know if they've got it in them, especially from behind when you have this much damage and the enemy team is just getting tankier and tankier. I don't know.
This could be it. This could be the moment where Corky wins the game. Unprecedented.
Well, it's a big one to win. And maybe he was just waiting for this moment.
Has not happened in a long time. T1, our defending world champions, want to make it back so desperately. And look at the vision control here as well, not opening themselves up. This Yone was such a big thorn in their side. Zeus is the one that ends up taking it. Top wave, gonna get shoved in.
Yeah, so a little bit of solar flare poke on a def there.
Just a bit.
Doesn't break the shield, but I kind of feel like T1 this game have been fishing for engages, and they'll be willing to throw them out without committing too heavily and just waiting for the moment to strike. And it's given them advantages in this game on the back of that previous fight, but still down in kills, but a 7,000 gold lead. KT know how rough the game feels right now, and with that tower being taken, no structures outside their base. It's 6 towers to 0 right now.
So what you're saying is they just need to win one fight, and then there's a lot of standing gold on the map.
It's free. It's that simple. Objective bounties as well. I mean, I think ultimately the problem right now is that no one can match up well into Zeus. BDD just isn't strong enough to hold up against him. Perfect has had issues all game, and especially with the gold deficit now. If they could get some side lane pressure going, you know, you look at the top and bot tower, that's a lot of gold with the objective bounties and the low HP, but they're just not being given the opportunity, the angle. Faker's just camped in a side lane, and right now he's on 3 items. He's very strong. Zeus has been a consistent problem, so KT do have pick potential. They definitely have that, and they need a window where they can capitalize on it. But when you look at the goal difference across the board, the smallest goal difference between, I mean, excluding supports, is 1,100 between mid laners. The rest is even more, and with Zeus picking up this 3rd item, he is going to be very difficult to deal with.
The one saving grace for KT is the fact that they got that early Cloud Drake. Means that the game is not going to be done in 2.5 minutes, although if the Baron ends up falling and the base starts crumbling, might still be the case. But the fact that they will not be playing up against an Infernal Soul, that definitely is a big deal. Is that alone enough?
And you see BD trying to set up. That tower is so low, but just being denied again and again. And now we're about 2 minutes away from the next Baron, the next Dragon, and this is where it gets difficult because on the side of T1, everyone has flashes. So it's not like there's something like that to easily capitalize on. You haven't been able to cash in on the standing gold. We have BDD with 2 rods in the inventory, but no Rabadons. Ideally, he gets that before we go towards those objectives, but I don't know if there's going to be time. KT need to do some problem solving the next couple of minutes, because if T1 get the next Dragon and the next Baron, I don't think this game's recoverable.
Yeah, as you're saying, you have to be proactive. You can't just sit back and wait for T1 to set up and essentially control objectives, especially with the lead that they have. So for KT, you know, trying to use some of their side laning to have LeBlanc and Camille, maybe that's enough, but for now, they're kind of stuck back on their side of the map.
Guma is up 2 items.
Yeah, look at the items he has as well. So he has the IE, which goes really well with the range rapid fire cannon, but also the shield bow. So BDD's going to have a far harder time picking him, bursting him, and that's kind of the benefit of being so far ahead, is you have the luxury to go for more defensive items and still outdamage your opponent.
That's the big thing. You have double shield bow. Owner was just sitting on an arm guard, has actually finished it now, and has gotten himself the Zhonya's. The one win condition, the one opening for KT, if they do want to make this, frankly, miraculous run to Worlds, is getting a pick on a single target. That or a Baron steal. But look at the vision control that's there for T1. They know as well. Right now we're in very firm control of the game. We have a lot of safety inside. Well, the map control, as long as we don't take a big gamble We should be fine. BDD should be getting his death cap after that cannon. I wonder if they're gonna give up this Drake and maybe make a play towards that Nash. Try and friend, but like again, look, T1's gonna know before KT can even think of it.
Yeah. Does feel like this Baron could be huge for the side of T1 if they can utilize that to end the game.
They could just have Zeus solo the dragon, honestly. Or it looks like they're sending Guma to do it, maybe. But they really don't need to commit members to the dragon. They can keep presence around the Baron area. Guma is just going to solo out the dragon pretty quick enough. Actually going to get some help from Zeus.
It's a lot of damage.
And they're still maintaining vision on the top side. They are giving no windows to KT. No opportunities to let them back in the game.
Yeah. You don't really get to utilize any of your side lane pressure. Nobody can really deal with Zeus still, unless you're going to drop both LeBlanc and Camille there. And so it's another Infernal Drake that goes to T1, but more importantly, as you guys have been mentioning, they're just setting up supreme vision around the most important objective right now, which is the Baron buff.
Do have both Death Cap done, as well as Mortal Reminder for Deft. So there are some minor spikes here for KT. Is that enough to go up against the might and money of T1? I don't know. That's going to help a little bit.
Trying to catch Barrel. They really want to get him to use his ult. And now we got a potential sleep coming in here as there goes in Keria looking for a bit more. Oh! Sniped by Guma! And that might just do it. It's 2 kills to the Jhin. And look at this. BDD's going to go down as well. It's 3 kills just like that. And Faker once more. But already it is such a huge win to the side of T1 as they look to group in mid.
Pings are coming in. They do have the Misfortune ultimate to clear the wave. But T1 might try and interrupt, might try and just look for the pressure, look for the end here.
Looking like it. I mean, KT, they already lost 3 members. What can they do?
10 seconds on Barrel. Is that going to be enough? Perfect. He goes in trying to stall, but the Nexus turrets are falling.
Def can't get the angle.
They're just trying to do it. T1, they want to go to Worlds. Will they be able to? All they got to do is take down the Nexus, and they will get the job done. You will be seeing T1 at Worlds. You will have Faker there for the 9th time.
It goes to the last game possible, the last chance to get into Worlds. For the reigning champs will not be denied. They will stare down 3 of the members for that 2020